All right, guys. Hello and welcome to Fight Life Nation. Today I want to talk about a fight that's on the undercard of UFC 272, a card featuring Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. On the undercard, but it's in the feature fight of the card, which is the third fight of the night. Bryce Mitchell will be taking on Edson Barboza. Bryce Mitchell is the 11th ranked 145, that's featherweight contender, and Edson Barboza is the 10th ranked featherweight contender. Now these guys are heading in opposite directions. Edson Barboza has been in the game since 2010, 2011, and he's been exciting for his whole time that he's been there. Edson Barboza is a fan favorite. I know he's one of my favorites. I know every UFC game that's ever come out, I always play as Edson Barboza. He's one of the best characters because he always has like the best leg kicks. Go back, watch his highlight reel knockouts. The one against Terry Edom is a big one. Some of his fights against Dan Hooker, his fights against Paul Felder. He has some wars out there. Edson Barboza is one of my favorite fighters, and he's going up against Bryce Mitchell, who is an up-and-comer. He is a former tough contender. He was on the Tough House, the Ultimate Fighter. I believe he won the show. He beat Tyler Diamond, I think. I don't watch a lot of the Ultimate Fighter. I was never... After about season 14, I just didn't care anymore, and I think it was 14. It was just the same show over and over. But either way, that's where Bryce Mitchell comes from. He's had about 5 fights in the UFC since. He's won them all. He has 4 decisions and 1 submission. His 1 submission was actually the twister. So Bryce Mitchell, he put off a twister, which is pretty dope. It's a move Eddie Bravo created. And I remember Eddie Bravo being real supportive of him doing it. And then his next fight, he got it against a gentleman named Sales. And in his next fight, he took on a gentleman named Charles Rosas. He threw it up like 4 times. Like, he went for it. Nobody ever goes for the twister. It's a really tough move. You gotta lock up one set of legs, pull the guy across your body. You gotta like twist for the head. You get the body all discontorted. It's a really neat move to do. It's a hard move to pull off. Yeah, he was going for it, left and right against Charles Rosas. And then after that, he took on Andre Fili. And then that fight, it was a close fight. Mitchell was, once again, the way Mitchell fights, it's like a poor man's... I wouldn't even say a poor man's. He got his own style. He's a guy, he likes to take you down. He wants to counter the leg kicks with double legs. He's different from someone like Khabib, in that Khabib would try to get you to the fence and then drag you down from the fence. He likes to set it up off counters. If you go back and watch almost the last 4 fights that he's had, almost all his takedowns are off counters, except for the Andre Fili fight. He kept on going after the takedown because Fili didn't set him up so many times. But against Rosas, every time Rosas threw a kick, he would take him down. He just charges in with that double leg. Against Fili, he was hitting a lot of singles, so he can hit it from different directions. He can try different stuff. He's got pretty decent takedowns, Like I heard someone commentating saying that they didn't like his takedowns. They thought that he didn't have that good of takedowns, but he does. That's his game. And what's kind of interesting is he gave an interview and he talked about how, like, hey, everyone always talks about I'm really good on the ground. Every fight I've ever started, I started on my feet. I like Bryce Mitchell's stand-up, but it is not elite yet in any way, shape, or form. If he tries to stand up with Edson Barboza would carve him up. That's not what's going to happen. And here's what was kind of surprising to me. I didn't know this. Edson Barboza has not beaten a grappler in so long. I looked back. I went back to like 2015. All right, that's 7 years. I don't think I want to keep going back further and further and further trying to look for a grappler that he beat. He lost to Michael Johnson. He lost to Tony Ferguson. He lost to He has a win over Beneil Dariush. If you want to call Beneil Dariush a grappler, that's the closest thing to a grappler that he's beaten. He beat him with the flying knee. But he's in fights where he strikes, and it can go either way. He's a really great striker, but he gets into these wars that, hey, if you get into a war with guys like Paul Felder, guys that are Justin Gaethje, Cowboy Cerrone, I can name a couple others that he had. He's gonna stand up. He's gonna get hit sometimes. He's gonna win some. He's gonna lose some. If Bryce Mitchell does not stand with them, Bryce Mitchell will win this fight. I was the first person to tell you I thought he was going to get smoked. I didn't think this was competition. I thought it was weird that they were fighting each other. I'm a big fan of MMA Joey. MMA Joey is a channel that I watch. He believed that he still believes that Edson Barboza was just going to walk in there and just smoke Bryce Mitchell. And I was in agreement with them. And then, today I went back and I watched the tapes. I said, hey, this kid can really take people down. He's really strong. And MMA Joey had a point. He said, hey, who has he fought? And the names aren't big. Charles Rosa. Charles Rosas is one. Sales, I think it's Matt Sales is another. Tyler Diamond. Guys that just, I never heard of before. Like Sales and Diamond. I'm sorry, I know that there's somebody to who their fans are. I've never heard of them before. These aren't big names. I know Touchy Feely, that's a good name. I know Charles Rosas, that's a good name. Those are two good names. They're not elite, but it's just the way he won. And the way Edson Barboza hasn't won. I mean, when you look at his record, and I'm going to have to pull it up. I should have had it pulled up ahead of time. I'm trying to do this in one take, guys. But when you look at Edson Barboza's record, he has never beaten a grappler in the last 8 years, and it's a really weird thing. Give me a second while I pull this up. Let's see. Here he is. Edson Barboza has always been one of my favorite fighters. I didn't know this about him. I didn't know that he did so poorly against grapplers. It's one of those things when someone fights all the time, you almost can't pay attention to every fight they have. It's almost impossible. All right, here we go. I apologize for the. I'm not gonna edit this out. I'm gonna let it roll because I'm trying to clean up these videos a little bit. Edson Barboza's last few fights, he fought Giga Chikadze. Giga's a striker, beat him easy. He fought Shane Burgos. Burgos is a striker. Edson beat him easy. Marquand Americani, a striker. Edson won. Dan Ige, a striker. I would say a striker. He has a little bit of grappling. He lost a decision in that fight. He fought Paul Felder, a guy who can grapple. But, Paul Felder liked to stand with him because Paul Felder will get lured into who is Mas Macho fight. And that's just who Paul Felder is. Paul Felder beat him in that fight by decision. He lost by knockout to Justin Gaethje. Another striker. Justin Gaethje is like one of these guys, they always say that he's a great wrestler. I've never seen him wrestle my whole life. The one chance that he had to wrestle was against Khabib. He didn't wrestle at all. But he's a striker, and he knocked him out. Let's just count Gaethje as a wrestler that he didn't beat, even though it's not true. Kevin Lee. You go back to Kevin Lee's probably right now the most grappler kind of guy that he's fought out of the names that I've told you so far. He fought Kevin Lee in 2018. He lost by doctor stoppage because of a cut. He lost to Khabib in 2017. He lost to Beneil Dariush. He beat Beneil Dariush. That was his big win against the last grappler. He beat Gilbert Melendez, a striker. He beat Anthony Pettis, a striker. He was choked out by Tony Ferguson. He beat Paul Felder. He lost to Michael Johnson. Beat Bobby Green and Evan Dunham. Maybe Evan Dunham's another grappler. Lost to Donald Cerrone via rear naked choke. You just go back and back and back, and you just notice, like, anytime he fought grapplers, he had a hard time. I don't see any names of any good grapplers. I'm looking for good grapplers. The biggest name he has is Beneil Dariush. Hit him with the flying knee. Other than that, I don't see it. So yes, he has fought way better competition. I'll give you that. He's fought way better competition than Bryce Mitchell. It's not even comparable. You cannot compare Andre Touchy-Feely one fight against Andre Touchy-Feely or even the Charles Rosas against any of these names. You know, nobody's as high as Justin Gaethje. No one's as good as even Paul Felder. You know, it's not even close. And Felder's not even a terrific fighter. But the names just aren't close. The thing is the truth is the truth, and the truth is Edson Barboza cannot beat a grappler. It hasn't happened yet. And if he wins on Saturday night against Bryce Mitchell, it'll be the very first time. So Bryce Mitchell is my pick. I don't see this being a stoppage. Bryce Mitchell has not had very many stoppages. He only has the one, that in the UFC at least. I see this going as a decision. I see him taking down Edson, tiring him out the whole night, just keeping on, smothering him like a little wet blanket. One thing about Bryce Mitchell, though, it is exciting. He likes to transition a lot. He's always threatening the submission. He's just not very good at finishing it. And I really think he's just gonna keep bothering Edson the whole time. Bryce Mitchell is the favorite coming into this fight. I don't have those odds in front of me. I'm not going to pull them up. He is the favorite. I believe Edson Barboza, the last time I checked, was a plus 135 favorite. Bryce Mitchell was a minus 155. So you have to put $155 to win 100. I thought those were great odds to bet on Edson before watching all of Bryce's fights, before looking into Edson's background. I would lay the money on Bryce. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think this is going to be an easy win for Bryce Mitchell. I think this is going to be a statement-making win. I think he's going to earn his name off Edson Barboza. And I don't want it to be that way. I'm telling you, it is that way. Thank you, guys. Let me know who you think is going to win in the comments down below. Make sure you follow this channel, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Fight Life Nation. I cover all the local fighters here in Southern California. I'm trying to cover even more. I'm trying to get bigger and grow my channel, grow my brand. I'm trying to make Fight Life Nation a real thing. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.